get to that.
So when's this match going to end? In 30 seconds? Just like the Ronda Rousey fight? They take the girl down, put her over. Everybody's so happy. Yay.
So this is a rematch of UFC Fight Night from 2013, where Conor McGregor won by unanimous decision. Conor is coming back after 5 years, and he's facing Max Holloway, the former UFC featherweight champion, former BMF champion, baddest mother. I'm not going to finish that last sentence, but you can probably figure out what that last word is. But this will main event UFC 329 from T-Mobile Arena on Saturday night in Las Vegas, Nevada. It is International Fight Week. Conor we'll see how he is. You know, he was supposed to come back at UFC 303 against Michael Chandler, but that fight ended up getting canceled after McGregor suffered a toe injury. So, and the interesting thing is, this fight is going to be at welterweight, which means 170, which Conor has fought at welterweight before. I don't think Max Holloway has fought at welterweight, though. So it'll be interesting to see if he still has the same type of power and if he's able to move around the octagon in the same way.
I will give a prediction on this. I think McGregor wins in a round one knockout. He has not been in a fight that lasted more than 2 rounds in 8 years. I don't think this is lasting long.
Okay, you have not watched Max Holloway then.
I don't even know who Max Holloway is, which goes back to my point when we talked about the UFC, whatever it was called, 250 event. UFC doesn't market their whatever it was called. 250. They don't market their stars anymore. UFC has no stars, which is part of the reason why McGregor is coming out of retirement. I didn't even know this thing was happening this weekend.
He wasn't retired. What are you talking about?
He's been out of the sport for 5 years. What do you call that? Taking a break?
First of all, he had to recover from a major leg injury. So
it took 5 years.
It took him quite a while.
Maybe 2, not 5.
Oh my Lord.
Just you're gonna tell me you break your leg and you're just gonna take 5 years off? I don't buy it. I don't. He wanted
to make sure he was back to full health.
Oh yeah, he wanted to make sure he's back to form so he can get one paycheck for one more fight. He's gonna knock this guy out and then he's never gonna fight again.
Max Holloway is extremely durable. He wants to stand in the middle of the octagon. He'll point down like this and let's just trade.
That's why this fight is not going to last long. So I'm glad it's on Paramount Plus so that you guys don't have to pay the $60 anymore, so that you can pay $7.99 or whatever it is. I'll watch this fight because I know it's going to take 60 seconds or less. Trade balls, bam. Let's get it done and over with.
My God. I love this. He's one of the biggest stars in the UFC. I understand what you're saying. Max Holloway, he's one of the biggest stars in the UFC. Fans love him. You want to tune in when it's a Max Holloway fight. Sure, you may not know who he is, but you better believe UFC fans know who he is. He had a great rivalry with Alexander Volkanovski. He knocked out Justin Gaethje literally at the last possible second at UFC 300. This dude wants to stand and bang. It is going to be an absolute show.
I guess my point is back in the day, UFC was very mainstream. And to me, right now, UFC has a very niche audience. I think we can both agree it's not as popular as it was 5 years ago.
Sure, but it's still one of the biggest sports in the world. You can't deny that. They sell out almost every pay-per-view they do. They usually bring in large gates. Like,
well, a lot of that similar to wrestling is they've also started going overseas. That's a big part of it.
Well, yeah, but even when they do events at Madison Square Garden, when they've gone to major arenas in the U.S., you know what they do? Sell out. People want to watch.
Well, again, because it's fighting and there's a lot of celebrities there, you know, of course it's going to sell. It doesn't mean it's a great product.
You don't sell out shows and pay-per-views constantly if you don't have a great product.
Well, I would argue that like the first 3 rows of every UFC fight is people like, you know, big CEOs, big presidents that just hear, oh, a fight's in town, we should go.
I was there at UFC 203 back in 2016 when...
Yeah, Josh, that was 10 years ago when UFC was arguably at its peak.
I don't care. That when UFC made its only appearance in Cleveland.
That's like me saying, oh yeah, in 2016, I was there when the Guardians were selling out every game. Of course they were, because they were a good team back then. Like, it's the same thing.
UFC is still selling out. They're still putting on great pay-per-views and events. Is every card going to be a 5-star banger? No. I'm not, dude.
I'm not saying that either. What I am saying is UFC is now a very niche audience that is leaning towards their fans, but they're not bringing in new fans.
I can guarantee you people are going to want to tune in for this because it's Conor McGregor. He still has that type of draw.
Which again, they are, from my perspective, and again, maybe I'm wrong, they are bringing back Conor McGregor to get people back because these new guys aren't selling the way those guys used to. When Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey, Brock Lesnar, Randy Couture, Chuck Liddell, I'm talking about those guys. Those are the guys that I know. John Jones. I couldn't pick 5 UFC fighters out of a hat's name right now.
I
just named 10 off the top of my head.
So you don't know Justin Gaethje, Alexander Volkanovski?
I've never heard of these guys.
Max Holloway, Amanda Nunes?
Nope, never heard of them.
Wow. You have got to be kidding me. You're unbelievable, man.